This Civic Media podcast is sponsored by UW Organ and Tissue Donation. Organ donations are desperately needed, and now is the right time to become an organ donor. Talk to your family. Get the dot. Save lives. Go to heroicdeed.com.
This is your WXCO Daily News Roundup for Bull Falls Radio, 98.9 FM and 1230 AM in Wausau.
For WXCO News, I'm Brittany Merlot. President-elect Donald Trump has promised mass deportation of illegal immigrants on day one of his presidency. But that's not what a majority of Americans want. Polls show about 65% of Americans across party lines want lawmakers to create a path to citizenship for the country's 11 million undocumented immigrants. Jennifer Piper with the American Friends Service Committee points to a series of so-called show your papers laws. Colorado had them from 2006 to 2013, which led to some of the highest deportation numbers in the nation.
We already know what the policies of mass deportation look like intimately. And what we found is our businesses suffered, our schools suffered, our kids suffered.
Here in Wisconsin, undocumented immigrants pay more than $100 million per year in state and local taxes. The University of Maryland polled people across swing states. It found that here in Wisconsin, 63% of people prefer creating paths to citizenship over mass deportations for law-abiding, undocumented residents. It showed even a majority of Wisconsin Republicans would rather see immigrants become citizens and not be forced to leave. Experts say mass deportation could cost more than $100 billion. And the Wisconsin Public Service Commission voted last week to approve rate increases next year and again in 2026. About 1.5 million natural gas users statewide and roughly 1.6 million electricity users in Wisconsin will be impacted by the increases. Preliminary estimates show the average residential We Energies customer will pay about $17 more for electricity and between $4 to $10 more for gas per month. The average WPS customer will see rates go up roughly $12 for electricity and $4 for gas over the same time period. The Public Service Commission expects to finalize the rate increase amounts by the end of this year. Wisconsin's threat reporting tip line, Speak Up, Speak Out, or SUSO for short, has received more than 40% more tips since the previous school year. The Wisconsin Department of Justice released their annual report, which shows how many times threats or concerning behavior was reported to them. SUSO is a free statewide threat reporting tip line available for all Wisconsin schools. Since SUSO's inception in 2020, bullying has consistently remained the number one tip, which is also common on a national scale. The tip line allows schools to be aware of these incidents and intervene early before things escalate and potentially become violent. And Wisconsin Tony Governor Evers and the Department of Transportation recently announced nearly $140 million of funding for road projects. Lisa Hale reports.
According to a press release, local governments will have received over $536 million of funding road projects through the General Transportation Aids Program by the end of this year. The funding helps local governments cover the costs of construction and maintenance. The Evers administration has improved over 7,400 miles of road and over 1,700 bridges since 2019.
You'll see a little piece of the Northwoods if you're headed to Madison this holiday season, as one Rhinelander family's tree was chosen to be the official Christmas tree for the Wisconsin State Capitol building. Last year, a different tree from Rhinelander was picked up to light up the Capitol, and that alone got one local couple fired up to offer their large balsam fir tree right from their own backyard. They reached out to the Capitol's Superintendent of Buildings and Grounds and made it happen. A tree lighting ceremony will be held at the state capitol on December 5th, and you can bet the Burks who own the tree will be there. A snowstorm could be striking the Midwest about the same time as another potential hurricane heads for the west coast of Florida. Up here, a big low-pressure system tracks our way and stalls out by Lake Michigan. As it takes a dip to the south, it drags cold temperatures throughout the state, which of course will likely flip rain to quickly accumulating snowfall Tuesday night and into Wednesday, and it could linger longer. The weather pattern is shifting from a strong El Nino to a weak La Nina. Here's Matt Friedline with the National Weather Service.
So weak La Nina tends to be better for that, to keep it snowing that, and frequent systems, the Alberta Clippers, as we say. So a lot of nickel and dime snow opportunities, more frequent cold air intrusions too.
Meanwhile, Tropical Depression 19 is set to soak up the warm waters of the Gulf this weekend and has its sights set on Florida, possibly making landfall at the same exact time the snow strikes us. And it's expected to reach hurricane strength tomorrow, taking on the name Sarah. And the Wisconsin DNR is warning residents that a couple of new invasive species may be heading this way. Melissa Kay has more.
According to a Facebook post, the DNR is warning about the hemlock woolly and balsam woolly udelgid moving through Michigan. The insects have not been found in Wisconsin yet, but residents should be on the lookout as they target hemlock and fir trees. An infected tree would look stunted with swollen branches as the insects use toxic saliva on the trees that also cause needles to become discolored and fall.
And it's the last of 4 supermoons of the year on Friday, where the full moon will appear 30% brighter and look nearly 15% bigger as it moves closer than normal to Earth's orbit. You'll have to wait a while to see it look like that again, until October 7th of next year. That's when we get 3 supermoons in a row. It'll move close and look big again on November 5th and December 4th. However, this one on Friday is also known as the Beaver Moon. The Oneida County Health Department unveiled a new community health improvement plan called CHIP, designed to tackle the most pressing issues facing the area, including housing, childcare, substance use, and mental health. At a meeting Wednesday night, community members and local leaders gathered to discuss these priorities and how they can work together to create solutions. The CHIP is based on extensive community input, including surveys and interviews with residents and key stakeholders. Leaders highlighted substance use as a significant issue, with experts pointing to the connection between mental health struggles and the use of substances as a coping mechanism. The CHIP will go into effect next year. And nearly 38 million Americans live with diabetes. Melissa Kay tells us more.
One challenge facing diabetics is hypoglycemia.
Hypoglycemia is when your blood sugar falls really low, and this can lead to many health complications.
That's Aspirus Pharmacy resident Rebecca Tao. She said hypoglycemia can happen for many reasons.
One reason is that your body might produce too much insulin, or if you are on insulin therapy. Insulin is a hormone that your pancreas makes that helps us use sugar for energy.
Symptoms can vary, but you should know what to look for, as dangerously low blood sugar levels can pose immediate health risks if left unaddressed.
Common signs and symptoms to look for are if you are feeling shaky, if you're feeling hunger, also if you have like a fast heartbeat, or if you're feeling dizziness.
Rebecca said if you're feeling these symptoms, you should check your blood sugar level if you can. Then you should follow the rule of 15. Consume 15 grams of fast-acting carbohydrates, wait 15 minutes, then check your blood sugar again and repeat if necessary.
It's so important to listen to your body and know how to respond to low blood sugar episodes. I'm Brittany Merlot for WXCO.
It's Packers and Bears week. Hi, I'm Mike Clemens with sports. The Packers held practice getting ready for the Bears in Chicago Sunday. Even though the Packers have beat the Bears 10 times in a row, I asked Jordan Love if there's still a rivalry.
Definitely. No, we know the history of the game, and it's definitely, I think it's special to be a part of it. A rivalry that's been going on, the oldest rivalry in football.
In Chicago, Bears head coach Matt Eberflus fired his offensive coordinator.
In the past 48 hours, working through some things and obviously released Shane Waldron. What I'm looking for the offense is creativity, working the guys into open positions on the field. And that takes creativity, but it takes everybody.
Pass coordinator Thomas Brown promoted to offensive play caller. NBA, the Bucks with a 127-120 win in overtime against the Pistons. Damian Lillard out with a concussion. Giannis with 59 points.
Not only did Giannis have to score, he actually had to be a point guard as well.
That's Doc Rivers with Sports. I'm Mike Clemens.
On your entertainment beat, I'm Pete Schwaba. When it comes to films opening wide this weekend, it's a bit quiet, sort of like the calm before the storm. All eyes are on next week's openers, which will showcase Barbenheimer 2.0 or Glicked, which is Wicked and Gladiator 2. But there is one film opening wide this week, and it follows a new trend of badass Santa movies. Red One stars Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, Chris Evans, J.K. Simmons, and the awesome Bonnie Hunt. Johnson plays the head of security at the North Pole and teams up with bounty hunter Evans to find Santa Claus, who has been kidnapped. It's usually an inside job. The first suspect would be Mrs. Claus. Red One is getting less than 40% on Rotten Tomatoes, but don't let that stop you. It looks like pure holiday fun, and at PG-13, it's fun for the whole family. The Bruce Willis film, The Fifth Element, is getting a re-release this weekend, but in a limited capacity. The film is from 1997 and also stars Ian Holm, Gary Oldman, and Chris Tucker. If you feel like staying home, new movies to stream include Megalopolis, Saturday Night, or Michael Keaton's Goodrich. Let's go to the movies. Actor Glenn Powell is no Ethan Hunt, according to actor Glenn Powell. The Top Gun and Twisters actor denied rumors that he will be the next Ethan Hunt in the Mission Impossible series. Rumor had it that Tom Cruise was the one who wanted Powell to be his successor. Powell told Pat McAfee of The Pat McAfee Show there is no way he wants the role and would certainly never do his own stunts like Cruise does. Cruise created the role of Hangman in Top Gun Maverick for Powell after Powell lost out on playing Goose's son to Miles Teller. Seems like he's doing okay since then. Powell is currently filming The Running Man, a remake of the Arnold Schwarzenegger film from the 1990s. For those of you who are film noir buffs, I don't think I have to tell you this is Noirvember. If you're looking for a good old black and white film to watch, check out In a Lonely Place with Humphrey Bogart. Bogart plays a cocky Hollywood writer suspected of killing a young starlet. The story has lots of twists and turns and has excellent acting. It's got all the elements you want in a good film noir and an ending you don't see coming. Happy Noirvember. There's not much left for Denzel Washington to achieve when it comes to his career. That is probably why he's mentioned retiring soon. The actor says he will star in the third Black Panther film. After that, he says he will do Othello and then King Lear and then hang it up. There is a lot of potential there to exit the business with a third Oscar for acting. Washington won Best Actor for Training Day and a Best Supporting Actor statue for Glory. Seems like he's really getting the hang of this acting thing. Fasten your seatbelts. There is a new Sexiest Man Alive for 2024, and his name is John Krasinski. The always humble Jim from The Office and star of A Quiet Place says when he got the news, he thought he was being punked. His wife, Emily Blunt, said if he won, she would wallpaper the house with magazine covers. Sounds like they have a busy weekend. For more showbiz fun, tune into Nightlight with me, Pete Schwaba, weeknights from 6 to 8 p.m. on the Civic Media Radio Network.
Mostly cloudy today with a high in the upper 40s this afternoon. The wind will be out of the north at 5 to 15. 38 tonight, partly cloudy, 50 tomorrow. Saturday, Sunday, partly to mostly cloudy. Some showers on Saturday night with highs both days in the low 50s. I'm meteorologist Sean Cable. Currently, it's 42.
That's your WXCO Daily News Roundup from Civic Media. Subscribe to this podcast on Spotify, Apple, or wherever you find your podcasts. Find more news at bullfallsradio.com. The national news cycle never stops, but it can be hard to find news about your local community. Civic Media is dedicated to providing quality local and state news coverage across Wisconsin. With the Civic Media app, you can get notifications about local stories that matter to you and your community. Find the free Civic Media app in your phone's app store and choose notifications from the menu to tell us what kind of news you want to hear about.